Can a show be so amazing and adorable while still having animation and continuity errors? For that question, there are only two possible answers: yes and absolutely. Bluey proves this with various little mistakes we've spotted throughout the episodes. 1. Yes. 1. Want an example? The episode movies is a perfect starting point. Bandit, Bluey, and Bingo are buying tickets and popcorn, and we can see movie posters hanging on a red wall inside the local movie theater. Later, as they're watching the movie, they head out again to get more popcorn since Bingo spilled hers. However, we notice something odd. The red wall from earlier is now purple, just like the rest of the theater. You might be thinking, could they be in a different part of the theater? Maybe, but that would only make sense if all the employees there were identical twins, because the popcorn attendant is the same person as before. This proves it's truly the first of 15 mistakes we've uncovered in the delightful world of Bluey that we'll show you today. So join us as we dive into the amazing world of Bluey. 2. If you, like us, have watched the episode Magic Asparagus, you know it's packed with hilarious scenes. In it, Bluey transforms her parents and Bingo into various animals using nothing more than a magical asparagus given to her by Chili at dinner. In the middle of the fun, while Lucky's dad Pat is calmly hanging clothes on the clothesline, something interesting happens. During one of Bluey's transformations, Bingo and Chili become fierce lionesses, hiding in the grass in the backyard and attacking poor Pat like two wild animals. A fun detail is that if you look closely, you'll notice Pat hanging 3 identical blue rugby shirts on the line. But in the blink of an eye, one of the blue shirts magically turns white. Was it an animation mistake? Or a slow-acting bleach? We may never know. 3. Let's go back to the movies episode for another fun detail. It involves the movie posters scattered around the theater. In the first scene, while the wall is still red, as we mentioned in the first mistake, the posters show 2 films. One resembling Princess Peach from Super Mario, and another that seems like an intriguing canine romance. But later, in the scene with the purple wall, the posters have changed. Now, instead of the previous films, we see a movie about a bee and another featuring a detective who looks suspiciously like Winton's dad. Still think it's a different part of the theater? Wait until you see the next mistake. 4. In both popcorn buying scenes from the movie's episode we mentioned in Mistake 1, the same drink fridge is visible, proving it's the same location. Inside, you can see green bottles on top, yellow ones below, and a 4 price tag on the outside. However, in one of the following scenes, we notice a second $4 tag inside the fridge just below the green bottles. But in the first scene, that inside tag didn't exist. How is that possible? Small details often slip by unnoticed, but not by our sharp eyes. 5. In the dance mode episode from season 2, the Healer family is waiting in line at the post office as Bandit needs to update their address. Right behind them, we see a dog holding a letter, patiently waiting for their turn. However, while Bingo activates one of her dance modes on poor Bandit, something curious happens. The letter suddenly vanishes from the dog's hand, floats up and forward, then mysteriously reappears, as if it were levitating. It's like a magic show in the middle of the post office. Now you see it, now you don't. If you also think Bluey is one of the cutest and funniest shows out there, drop a comment saying adorable so we can see how many people agree. 6. The episode Hotel is one of the funniest from Bluey's first season, especially when Bingo plays the role of the crazy assistant. This little pup has impeccable comedic timing, but what stands out isn't her acting, it's a tiny mistake involving a toy. When Bluey, acting as the hotel manager, removes the crazy assistant, we can see a party blower used by Bingo lying next to Bandit's suitcase. But when Bingo returns a few seconds later, the toy mysteriously shifts positions and is now further away from the suitcase. This is one of those blink and you'll miss it errors that you only spot after watching the episode multiple times. 7. In the episode Wagon Ride, a small error almost went unnoticed until we rewatched it several times. While Bandit stops the imaginary wagon to chat with a friend, Bingo hops off to sniff some flowers by the roadside. But something curious happens with the flower she smells. It moves on its own, as if it were alive or part of a magic trick. Could Bingo secretly be a magician? Who knows? 8. In the same episode, another funny mistake occurs that most people never noticed. Upon arriving at the park, Bingo, as energetic as ever, is the first to jump out of the imaginary wagon. But if you look closely, something strange happens with the spot on her head. For one frame, it completely vanishes, only to reappear as if nothing had happened. Didn't notice it? Watch it in slow motion to see for yourself. It seems Bingo's energy is so intense that even the animators struggle to keep up. 9. Now let's move on to the episode Baby Race, where we find another mistake involving character spots, just like in the previous example. When Bella, Coco's mom, visits Chili, she shows her a photo of her family filled with people. At that moment, you can see a cream-colored spot on the side of Chili's face. However, just seconds later, the spot mysteriously disappears as if it was never there. It seems like the character spots sometimes play tricks on the animators. Or maybe they only appeared because Chili was shocked to find out Bella has 9 kids. 10. In the episode Takeaway, another quick yet strange mistake can be spotted if you have sharp eyes like ours. While pretending to take Bingo's order, Bluey mimics writing it down. But when she turns her head to watch Bandit walk toward the restaurant door, something odd happens. Her mouth moves faster than the tip of her nose, creating a bizarre effect if you pay close attention or watch it in slow motion. It's a detail as strange as it is adorable. After all, we're talking about Bluey, right? Enjoyed spotting these mistakes so far? Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated on our upcoming videos. There's plenty more to come. 11. In the same episode Takeaway, another curious scene unfolds. While Bandit helps Bingo pee in a bush, since the little pup was absolutely desperate, she needed her dad's help to hold her while she relieved herself. At that moment, as Bandit holds Bingo, some crows begin attacking the dinner left on the ground. Here's where it gets interesting. Next to Bandit, a bit farther away, there are a few restaurant flyers lying on the ground. To grab them, Bandit would have to take a few steps backward, but doing so would certainly leave a trail of Bingo's pee on the ground, if you know what I mean. Yet none of this happens. Instead, Bandit somehow mysteriously grabs the flyers and waves them at the crows as if they were right next to him. So it begs the question, does Bandit have hidden powers that allow him to stretch his arms? Or maybe, just maybe, he can make things levitate into his hands. Because otherwise, this seems downright impossible. 12. Back to the episode Magic Asparagus, another peculiar mistake appears. In one scene, we see Bluey turn Bandit into a meerkat, and he runs off in a specific direction, as you can also notice. However, just seconds later, he reappears behind the kitchen counter, which is in the opposite direction to where he was running. For this to be possible, we'd have to assume Bandit is faster than Sonic himself. Or more likely, the animators made a little slip in the scene's logic, which definitely seems the most probable explanation. 13. In the same episode and scene, another inconsistency pops up. When Bingo, transformed into a pig by Bluey, makes a mess in the kitchen cabinet, we see 2 cans fall to the ground. However, after Bandit is transformed into the meerkat in the scene we just discussed, the cans mysteriously vanish as if by magic. Could this asparagus be so magical that it cleans up the mess all by itself? If so, tell me where to buy one so I can gift it to someone to clean up my messes too. 14. Returning to the episode, Takeaway, another simple animation error makes an appearance. While Bandit confirms his order at the restaurant, we can see through the window that he's talking to a worker with completely white fur. However, moments earlier, we saw the same worker with gray fur on her head. But that's not all. In the final scene of the episode, when she delivers the food, her fur remains gray, proving that the first scene where the restaurant worker appears is likely the mistake. Unless, of course, the worker has the power to change colors. Honestly, we're almost sure it's just another continuity error, don't you think? 15. In the episode Seesaw, Chloe, Bluey's little Dalmatian friend, is seen kicking a pine cone while the girls need help balancing the seesaw against Bandit's weight. Naturally, the pine cone ends up next to the seesaw and stays there for quite some time. The curious thing is that suddenly, when Chloe compares their weight to that of a hippopotamus, the pine cone vanishes without explanation. Nobody kicked it, and Chloe was on the seesaw with the girls. Did the pine cone decide to take a stroll on its own? These were the 15 mistakes you probably never noticed in Bluey. Videos about Bluey are always full of surprises and hidden details. And you know what else is packed with fun? These 2 videos we've selected for you to watch right now. I bet you'll have a great time. Also, let us know in the comments if you'd already noticed any of these mistakes before.